What was that? 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 All right, let's get this thing crack-a-lacking, crack-a-lacking, lack-a-lacking, crack-a-lacking, crack-a-lacking, lack-a-lacking. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good all part of the day the video chooses to reach you. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling blessed. I hope you realize that you are blessed. You're blessed because you got to see a day that somebody else didn't get to see. Even if it's a crazy fucking time that we're living in, you get to see it and somebody else didn't get to see it. So tighten up and realize that you fucking blessed, all right? It's your boy Von P, the political crash out. Gotta write me a script to start the show out a little bit better than that. Especially when I just be shooting off the cuff. I just wanted to come to you guys today and talk about two things. Got an interesting comment on the live stream last night where an individual asked me, I probably should have cut it, edited into this whole clip. Yes, you can tell I'm not an editor. But a person asked last night, do I do or listen or react to political music on the stream? And to be honest with you, I was stumped. I was completely stumped because, to my knowledge, I'm like, I don't think we have that much political rap or political music going on in America right now. Outside of America, probably is something bigger, but inside of America, it's a dying art form. I went and did some research with some of my comrades that are more well versed in the musical world than myself. Let me pull up those conversations right here. And good friend of mine, Nova the Professor, aka the hip hop doc, as I like to call him. The man has a doctorate and he's heavy in the hip hop. He actually teaches hip hop. He's taught a course on hip hop at Florida State University. I believe he's in Atlanta right now doing his thing as well. But you know, a conversation that we had earlier when I asked him this question, he told me straight up. He was like, he's pretty sure that there are independent artists that's still out there making some revolutionary rap tunes, but all in all, mainstream, we don't see it. It's almost as if, excuse me, he's basically said it's almost like, how they've taken critical race theory out of schools and DEI and all this other shit out of schools. They've taken the political commentary or the fight the powerness of it all out of rap specifically. We just don't see it mainstream anymore. Uh, and we could dive into some other shit that's the root cause of it. I mean, we could look at the Jim Jones and Nas bullshit to try and see what, how that signifies the shift. And we don't give a fuck about, thoughtful rap bars anymore. Motherfuckers like Jim Jones out there saying that they're just as good as Nas. And that motherfucker ain't shit when it comes to Nas. And I like Jim Jones, but when it comes to rap bars, this motherfucker needs to sit the fuck down. And that just shows you also where we are as a rap community, where we now glorify more of that street shit than the motherfucker that actually is saying some shit. One of my other hip hop aficionados, Mr. Orlando Vibes Dealer, he kept it short and simple. Say, I got nothing, man. Nothing. And when a man that is known for putting together playlists with hundreds of fucking songs on it, like I think my dog Orlando Vibes Dealer, his Rolodex for songs is just immense. Like that motherfucker got a huge musical library in his head. For me to ask him that question and him not to come back with nothing recent, like it woke me up a little bit, because last night when the question was asked to me on the stream, I said I don't think we have nobody active right now. I gave a bunch of old names and older, I guess you could say OGs in the game. But for me to ask two individuals that I know more hip hop than me, and they ain't got nothing. One of which, Nova the Professor, just came back from being an ambassador for Rock the Bells. So if he got nothing, and a man I know that has an infinite amount of playlists stored in his head ain't got nothing, I'm gonna lean on saying we got nothing. Another one of my friends, Big Fletch, he chimed in and told me that outside of maybe Killer Mike and David Banner, we got no real revolutionary rap going on. And that speaks to where we are as a people. Charleston White talked about, black people on Trump. Black people glorify money. These rappers glorify money, and they fucking put money on the pedestal. Some of these rap bars don't even make sense no more. Like that song, I don't even know who the fuck sings it. But first time I heard the actual song, what the hell, all that shit on the radio, I was in shock. I was like, this song don't even fucking sound right. Like, who the fuck said this was a hit? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Who the fuck said that shit was good? We don't got real quality rap out here. So if we don't got real quality rap, there's no way in hell we're gonna have revolutionary rappers. Just like I said on the show yesterday, we got an industry that propels individuals that talk bullshit, and they stymie and plateau the individuals that are trying to make a difference with their bars by actually saying some shit, by actually trying to push a good narrative out there. So just wanted to respond to that really quick before we got jumping into the 150 new laws out in the state of Florida. But yeah, that shit's trash, bro. This music that we see nowadays is really fucking trash. It's trash. So I was trying to be coy about it yesterday and trying not to go too far into it because I really wasn't sure. But after having conversations with the motherfuckers that know way more about music than me, and finding out like, yeah, you was right, bro. Well, really shit out here. You know what I'm saying? We, especially not in no revolutionary rap, no politics whatsoever. David Banner, he got here. He got out of the music game, and we never really asked David Banner why he got out of the music game. And I think one part of it is he making a shit ton of money on the other side doing production and all other shit he's doing. But he said it on Drink Champs, like he got tired of fucking getting fucking fucked over by the music industry. We see that these people are fucking these artists over left and right, and in some cases they fucking them, allegedly, according to the Diddy trial. I don't know, man. I don't know. Diddy gonna get off, but Diddy's a fucking freak. Diddy nasty, and Diddy just did a lot of fucking shit. And I ain't gonna lie, I can't look at Diddy the same no more, man. I just can't. I can't. I got something against dudes that put their hands on women, number one. Number two, he's a fucking freak. You nasty, boy. Diddy nasty as fuck. Like, he nasty. Like, and speaking of the Diddy trial, I'm about to get off subject here, but ladies, do not ever feel any type of way when you see these women's out here on these yachts and these $1 million vacations and getting flued out here and flued out there. You seen how the city girl, like, I'm a whore. Imagine what it really takes to be those women. In the case of Diddy's whores had to fuck 3-4 men, sometimes at a time, lather down in baby oil. bukkake and swallowing and all type of freak nasty shit to get flued out. These motherfuckers were taking all type of drugs and putting Molly and ecstasy in the baby oil and lathering themselves up so they could just be high as fuck and it's just dope seeping into all their pores and shit. Like I said, she's getting a train run on her by 3 and 4 prostitutes. Sometimes doing that shit multiple times a night. You really about that life to get flued out? You really want that life to get flued out? Knowing that, most of the nights that you're gonna be flued out, you're gonna be doing some real nasty, freak nasty shit. Every hole on your body has been penetrated, even your ears and your nose. That's a horrible life. That's not no negative. Pineapples, I don't like it. No, stop. Trump say he gonna deport Elon. I believe it when I see it. Trump and Elon, it's a beautiful love affair with some toxic lovers. And we've seen toxic love affairs before. That's what I see that as. It's a toxic love affair that ain't gonna stop because they're entwined with each other. Elon has spent a lot of bread behind Trump. Trump done made a lot of moves in that big beautiful bill to benefit Elon. That's why I think that's why Trump said earlier in the press conference, well, if Doge takes a look at Elon, we'll save a lot of money. No shit, Trump, because you know how much you giving this motherfucker. hey, we got to pay attention to what they're saying and start laughing at everything. We in America like to humorize every fucking thing and make jokes and memes out of the shit. But when we really listen to what these motherfuckers are saying, it's right there in front of us. And these motherfuckers are crazy when they get to, getting them in the backroom deals and who gonna get what and what not. And speaking of backroom deals, let's jump into Florida's 150 new laws that are on the books as of today. July 1st, 2025 starts a new fiscal year. If you're not aware of what the fiscal year is, it's the calendar that most businesses abide by to make sure that their budgeting practices align and make sure that, when they're going through that normal holiday rush or holiday craziness, they're not having to deal with no budget reconciliations and trying to figure out budgets and stuff. So the fiscal year starts on July 1st every year. That's why they call it a fiscal year, because most businesses rely on it to, just offset. It basically just it's an accounting practice that keeps them not having to deal with all the craziness of the holidays when they're trying to verify budgets and create budgets of what they're going to operate off of for the next coming year. That's pretty much the definition of the fiscal year. Not fancy. It's just it's just an accounting practice that helps people avoid fucking up. All right, so let's jump into the new laws of the state of Florida. And to help us with that, I was compiling a list and everything, and I was looking for some more information on trying to understand something. And I ran across this listed on the Tallahassee Democrat webpage, and I was like, these motherfuckers done did everything that I was sitting here working over the last hour to do in a nice complete package. Fuck it, I'm gonna use their shit. I am gonna use their shit. And this is another way, there's another example of how you yourself can go out there in the world and get this information. A lot of times the information that you're looking for or want to know is already been done or put out there by some entity that's trustworthy. And I'm not talking about a Twitter celebrity or Instagram influencer. People like myself are going to do things and try and get you educated and enlightened, but you have news and media outlets that do stuff like this on the regular. It's their fucking job to do this shit. So find those outlets. If there's a black media outlet, I would prefer that. But any type of media outlet is going to help enlighten you and encourage you to learn this shit. Stop just listening to what the fuck you heard and what a motherfucker told you off social media, which is wild that I'm saying that because I'm going to be posting this on social media. But understand, even I want you to be looking up and researching and just not staying on the surface level of any of the shit that you see or hear. One of the things that's making its rounds right now is a graphic that says RFK Jr. uncovers a buried study that links autism in kids to one of the vaccines. A simple Google search will show you that motherfucker article never existed. That's just a fucking graphic that was created on social media to make its rounds and rile people up and get you motherfuckers all emotional. And I've seen trusted medical professionals, seen the motherfucker that went to medical school sharing that. And I'd like to come like, hey, where's the article? Or what's going, like, give me some more information to look into. Oh, you don't know? They said it was a buried study. I wanted to say, my nigga, you's a motherfucking trained medical professional that want motherfuckers to take you serious in your medical field, and you ain't even taking the time to look up a goddamn article in the medical fucking field. Like my nigga, we got to stop pushing bullshit. It fucking excites me to look up information before I share it, because I want to make sure what I'm sharing actually feeds into my narrative, actually is truthful about what I'm talking about. When you think I don't find shit that, when I see it, I look it up, and I'm like, oh, that's some bullshit. But I ought to feel good to share it, because I'm like, damn, that could prove the point I've been trying to preach to these motherfuckers for days. But I put that shit away from me because I know I'm not the type of motherfucker that's going to be out here sharing dumb shit and fake shit and unreal shit. But you got motherfuckers out here that will do it, all because it fits the narrative that they're trying to push, all because it can make them, go a little bit further with their customer. I don't say their customer base, but the motherfuckers that be buying into that shit. Like, where have we gotten to the point in America where the information is less important than your emotions? Yeah, that's what's going on right now. We see motherfuckers put shit out there that will further their emotional feelings, give them that feeling, that dopamine feeling that they've been looking for, but will not enlighten their ass in the least bit. And when people try and enlighten them, they the wrong motherfuckers. They the motherfuckers that's sleep. They the motherfuckers that ain't got nothing. Man, you niggas is stupid as fuck out here sharing stupid shit, dumb shit, and call yourself fucking professionals and educated individuals. Like, that shit pisses me off when I say educated motherfucker be out here just sharing dumb shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, y'all niggas is stupid. Like, flat out fucking dumb as shit. And then get mad at me. Oh, you ain't gotta say it like that. You ain't gotta say, man, fuck you and that dumb shit you just shared, you dumb motherfucker. Stupid ass niggas. All right, so I got my highlights here, what I wanted to talk about here on this Florida budget. One of the biggest things, I know it's gonna be 150 of these motherfuckers. I'm gonna lose some of y'all along the way. I just know I am. But we went over some of the videos yesterday. I just wanted to touch on some of the highlights of these new laws that are going into effect. So as of today, geoengineering and weather modification activities of this in the state of Florida are illegal. Meaning no cloud seeding, no additives. If we're in a drought and those orange fields are just about to die, that farmer can no longer go up there in his cloud seeding plane and seed the clouds and help bring upon rain to save his crop. I neither agree with it nor disagree with it, because it's one of those gray area things. If you make this seeded rain fall onto these crops or these seeded rain now seep into the crops and fuck us up. I don't know, man. I'm not with all that crazy geoengineering shit. So I think that's cool. We got a new law expanding the definition of health facility to include nonprofit organizations, allows health facility authorities to make and execute loan agreements to refund outstanding bonds, to refund certain debts issued, and other financial powers. Basically just makes health facilities a little bit more less governed. You're gonna see these health facilities pop up like these charter schools are popping up in the state of Florida. And speaking of charter schools, we got an interesting one way tucked down at the bottom when we talk about charter schools. Hazardous, we got a new law against hazardous walking conditions for public school students. Under the new law, school districts provide transportation for schools up to grade 6 if there are hazardous walking conditions on walkways parallel to the road to or from school, and they work with local governments to address the problem. This bill adds walkways that are along limited access facilities such as highways, freeways, and ramps. This basically means if your kid ain't got a fucking sidewalk in the area, hello, this is what that's for. Because some areas that don't have when we live in this urban metropolis, which is Florida, we get to thinking about all the metropolitan areas, but we got to understand that Florida is over half country as fuck. There are a lot of rural areas in the state of Florida that don't have walkways, so this bill, that new law, kind of helps those individuals in those areas get their walkways. I have a new law against exploitation of vulnerable adults. Simplifies the process to obtain an injustice to protect a vulnerable adult from exploitation. Meaning you motherfuckers gonna stop preying on the handicap. They're making it easier to jam you motherfuckers up for preying on the handicap and old people. That's straight up what this is. It makes it easier to stop a proposed or initiated transfer of funds or property from a vulnerable adult to someone who can't be identified. Meaning you can't be out here defrauding these old motherfuckers no more. Like a lot of people in Dade County, a lot of Chicos. Let me just call you motherfuckers out. Y'all be doing a lot of shady shit with them old folks. Speaking of shady shit, if you're a naturalized U.S. citizen, the Department of Justice is gonna come after your ass now if you commit crimes. They're gonna deport the fuck out of your ass. As of today, I forgot to edit that video and put it out there, but it'll get out there tomorrow. As of today, the Department of Justice said, if you're a naturalized U.S. citizen and you committing crimes in the United States of America, they're gonna deport the fuck out your ass. They're gonna snatch your citizenship from you and they're gonna deport you. That what they said. That wasn't me. That what they said. That was gonna happen. You know how y'all love to live on they. That what they said. I was already I was here. All right. Yeah, the new law for administrative procedures, regulation of regulation of presidential libraries. This is one of those ass kissing rules that got stood in there. This basically says any local government cannot prohibit or try and get sneaky with their laws or ordinances to prevent a presidential library from being put into their city. You do have local governments that can get a little crafty and tricky with their wordplay to prevent things like this from happening. And Ron DeSantis and his government said, "Nah, we're not playing that word. We're gonna kiss President Trump dick, and we're gonna motherfucking try and see if we don't get a little bit of on our chin in the process." Compensations of victims of wrongful incarceration. Excuse me. This makes it easier for those individuals to get compensated, and it also extends the window of time that they have to. Why am I trying to remember that shit? Yep, extends the window of time they have to file a petition from 90 days to 2 years. So when y'all are out here saying, I'm saying y'all, when you see a motherfucker that gets incarcerated on some trumped up charges or some bullshit, they got a little bit more leeway and a little bit more time, and it's an easier process for them to say, hey, I ain't do this shit. Y'all gotta go, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So that's a plus. That's a big fucking win for them. All right. Brian Murphy Act. mental health awareness. This establishes a model process for local governments to divert mentally ill inmates from jail to treatment. Named for Tristan Murphy Adams, a 37-year-old inmate who killed himself with a chainsaw in 2021 while on a prison work detail. Nobody told his crazy ass to go. Let me shut up. But I'm happy that mentally ill individuals are getting the attention and treatment that they deserve. It's unfortunate that an individual had to lose their life in the process for this to happen, but we need measures like this in the state of Florida to help individuals that need the help. I just hope that we see it get applied equally across, the races, because we see individuals in the state of Florida that have mental health issues that are of African American nature get tased and shot on their front porch, even when their parents or their family members called and say, "Hey, this person is mentally ill, and we just need y'all some help a little bit." And the police and they kind of still came down there and fucked that man up. All right, so we have Senate Bill 180 for emergencies makes a variety of changes to preparation and response to activities of local government when emergencies happen. That's the department that basically this makes it streamlines and makes it easy for individuals to coordinate with the government in the state of Florida in disaster relief. As you know and heard, President Trump has said FEMA is going to go away. They're trying to get FEMA out of the hands. They're trying to take FEMA apart, basically. And the response to hurricanes and natural disasters will be left to the states. Excuse me. And this bill helps our state basically prepare for that eventuality. It takes a lot of coordination in the wake of natural disasters to make sure everything gets back recovered. And when there's no organization or there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians, it makes things a lot worse. So this bill helps organize and streamline how the disaster response would go in the state of Florida. All right, we got State Parks Preservation Act. Now, this is a funny one because if you remember, late last year, Governor Ron DeSantis got flack for trying to sell off private Florida land to become a fucking pickleball course. And now we have a law preserving Florida's state parks. Mandates Department of Environmental Protection to focus park management on passive federal traditional conservative-based recreational activities that leaves the land mostly undisturbed. It allows for low-impact cabins and campsites to be built with state approval. But all that other shit that y'all trying to do is sell off on state lands. They're not going for it. We've seen Governor Ron DeSantis try and sell off private state land before, and this law is going to change to help protect that. Now this one here, it's farm products bill. It redefines farm product to include plants and plant products, whether they're edible or not. Well, goddamn. One of the byproducts of shooting you live from your garage to garage door so you can see your neighborhood. Sometimes motherfuckers drive by with some noisy shit. But this farm products bill, it's funny. It prevents local governments from passing rules and regulations regarding farms, collection, storage, process, and distribution of farm products and agricultural land. So you can try and say, hey, this is a farm product. Basically, it muddies the water of what is called a farm product and what isn't farm product anymore. You can have ATVs and all type of other crazy shit that maybe look like recreational vehicles or some other type of vehicles or some type of other activity used for other activities. And you say, hey, this is a farm product. I use this to drag my bales of hay. And, because certain farm products get tax exemptions, yeah. All right, so students' participation, extracurricular and interscholastic extracurricular sports. Excuse me, interscholastic, intrascholastic. Fuck, I just butchered that fuck up. House Bill 248, student participation in interscholastic and intrascholastic extracurricular sports. This opens the door for kids that go to virtual schools and charter schools to be able to play sports for schools in their district. It's a win for homeschoolers because sometimes kids that go to homeschools or they're in virtual charter schools or private schools, they get left out of the school sports conversation, and they find out that it's a lot of paperwork and hurdles to jump when they're trying to join the sports team in their community or the local school. It's something that I just feel like this was needed because these kids sometimes need that to sharpen their interpersonal skills. Our kids nowadays are lacking severely when it comes to person-to-person communication. Their interpersonal skills fucking suck. And that comes from being like this all fucking day. Our kids can communicate like this 24 fucking 7. Never lifting their head up. But that person-to-person conversation, some of these kids cannot handle that shit. And sports, for a lot of people, sports are what helps sharpen your interpersonal skills. It helps sharpen your conflict resolution skills because you can't always have your way when you're playing sports. So you got to understand how to compromise and how to work within the system or work within the team. And without that, a lot of kids are missing that. And it's showing. It's fucking showing with a lot of these little fucked up ass kids. So see a rule or a law come out that makes it easier for certain individuals that were homeschooled or participating in these virtual schools to be able to get involved with sports without having to do a bunch of crazy shit. I'm all for it, but we got to make sure that it's done properly because I can already see sports stars that are homeschooled start playing for the St. Thomas's or the Archbishop, whatever's, or the American Heritages or the IMGs, and they're, I'm homeschooled, but I play sports for this particular school. We can start seeing that, and that's not the intention of this bill, but I fully see that shit happen. I just see it. I see it, but I am happy that the guardrails were lifted that allows these kids to be able to play sports. All right, we got aggravated animal cruelty law, Dexter's law. This law basically says you fuck up dogs or animals, they gonna fuck you up worse. They gonna give you a lot more. Like, come on, man. We're creating a registry for motherfuckers that commit animal abuse. But yesterday in the budget, I showed y'all so many community programs that were vetoed. And hell, at the top of this list, there's a whole list of shit that's vetoed. But we got money for the state to create and maintain a public database of those who have been found or pleaded guilty to cruelty to animals. Man, fuck them animals. We need programs and databases for motherfuckers that been convicted of cruelty to kids, cruelty to women, motherfuckers that have been found guilty of insurance fraud, tax evasion, shit like that. Animal abuse is not, something to laugh about, but the fuck? Special observers of Fentanyl Awareness Day. You tell me when crack awareness day is. You tell me when cocaine awareness day is. You tell me when weed awareness day is. But the one drug that is devastating the fucking white community gets an awareness day. August 21st is Fentanyl Awareness and Education Day. You niggas, you motherfuckers is tripping. You motherfuckers is tripping bad. The Department of Health, Department of Children and Families, man, get the fuck out of here. Fentanyl awareness. Man, you motherfuckers, y'all niggas on crack. Tell them to do drugs. DARE was around when I was coming up. Bring the DARE program back. God damn it. Even though all of us fucking failed the dare dog the dare line horribly. Oh god. The dare line and McGruff are rolling over in their graves right now. Anybody born in the 80s has pissed off the dare lion and McGruff the crime fighting dog. McGruff told us don't be doing nothing illegal. Motherfuckers be out here running red lights and all type of other shit and doing all type of fucking. God damn, boy. Damn. Well, fuck it. All right, so we got Senate Bill 262, which involves trust. It amends the Florida Trust Code to clarify existing law about trust decanting, pouring trust assets into a new trust. It aligns with Florida Trust Code with the Florida Probate Code, clarifies who can create or fund a second trust to make distributions to beneficiaries, who can bring actions on behalf of a beneficiary, and other specifics. This one, when you get into trust, there's restrictions on who can move money around that trust. This makes it a little easier for motherfuckers to just get around those laws. I'm just being honest with y'all. Public records of congressional members in public office. This basically what we used to have is our public officials, their public information, their location information and address, things of that nature, used to not be protected by law. If you've ever worked in law enforcement and certain levels of the government, you are exempt from your records being made public knowledge in any type of way. Our public elected officials, some of them weren't. So this new law helps protect them and their spouses and their children, and exempts them from public record searches. This is good because of the swatting that we've had in the state of Florida lately, and the other issues that we've had with motherfuckers trying to threaten and intimidate our public officials, especially now on the heels of this administration coming into office and the proliferation of attacks and planned attacks on public officials. We needed this because our public officials, no matter whether they're Republican, Independent, or Democrat, they don't deserve to be fucking harassed. Y'all don't got the right to harass these motherfucking people. Like, that ain't what it is. And a lot of these officials, they have security with them. If not, a lot of them, especially in the state of Florida, where we're a stand your ground state, they keep that thing on. So if you run up on the wrong public official, understand they can put that thing on you. Or somebody that look like they're nowhere dealing with them is going to come out of nowhere and put that thing on you because they're working the security detail for them and they just blend it into the background. That's generally how it's going to play out. So protecting these public officials' records is something that I'm all for. Now, false reporting. Now, this is like I just talked about. We had individuals that are in the state of Florida that are doing these swatting calls where they call the FBI, the bomb squad, the LAPD, and everybody else and say, hey, there's got this, that, and nothing going on at this person's address. And then everybody shows up and, it's true to be fake. You get caught doing that now, your ass is facing third-degree felony. Your ass is going to face a lot of money in fines because they're going to charge you for how much it ever costs them to respond to that emergency. They're going to charge you for now. So you're going to have a fat ass fine and a felony on your record for calling and doing swatting attacks in the state of Florida from now on. Warranty association. These motherfuckers I hate. And the state of Florida just made it easy for these motherfuckers to just get around actually having to pay out. What this new law says that allows certain large service warranty associations to skip securing contractual liability insurance, establishing unearned premium reserves, and complying with premium writing ratios. Meaning that they don't have to keep a certain amount of money to pay out these fucking claims anymore. They don't have to have a certain insurance to pay these claims because they're already scamming motherfuckers to figure out ways to get you out of that extended warranty. So they're telling them, hey, you don't got to, hold all that money because we know you scamming them motherfuckers anyways. That's really what this is. All you got to do is have contractual liability coverage to cover 100% of the amount. You can have some type of insurance on that, but the insurance that you need when the times to pay out these fucking claims ain't going to be there. The money that you would have, like insurance companies normally are forced to have on hand to pay out emergency claims and certain things, they don't have to do that anymore. because the Florida government knows that these are scams. That's extended warranties ain't shit but a scam. Now, boating safety, Luce's Law. We had a situation down here where a young lady was boating with her friends and family, and she was killed. The boat owner, he did a hit and run. He was drinking. The footage from the body cam from the what's it called? The police camera was destroyed because the police took a bribe and they, coded the stuff wrong. They basically tried to look out for the rich individual because motherfuckers in the society, a lot of people with money, they trying to do anything for motherfuckers with money. So when that doctor paid off the policeman to do all what they fuckery they did, that girl died, and they are going through hell trying to hold this man accountable now. So to prevent that from happening again, Florida created a law called Luce's Law, which increases the penalty for reckless boating and mandates boating education in certain instances. Now, if you're born before 1987 or 88, I believe, you don't have to do all that boating education shit. Yeah, 88. 1988. But in other instances, you do have to do it. And it basically creates a whole lot more penalties and fines for motherfuckers that are out there boating under the influence. Because we've had one too many fucking reckless or senseless deaths on the state of Florida's waterways because of motherfuckers just boating and drinking and being reckless as shit out there on our waterways. What do we got? Let's fit the rain again. All right, middle school and high school start times. Now, this is a dumbass bill because we actually had the Florida legislature create a mandate that said the schools had to start a certain time a couple years ago. And now we got a law that's saying, hey, you don't have to do that. So this is stupid as fuck. This is the type of shit that goes on. And then we have Republicans say, well, we're trying to cut out an inefficiency. Like, you guys are doing this shit. Like, hola, ¿cómo está? Like, you guys are the ones doing the shit. You literally mandated in, I think, 2018 or 2019 that schools had to start a certain time. And now in 2025, you're rolling back that mandate with another law. Hey, the fuck? House Bill 307 gives bonuses for employees of property appraisers. This is basically when you see raises for anybody that is dealing in the state of Florida, you got to have a law or a bill or some type of legislation that gives the state of Florida employees raises. So you'll commonly see that. We have extensions for limited liability corporations in the state of Florida. So now I can have my shell company with multiple LLC. I don't have to have multiple LLCs for my shell company that, I got a different company that holds each one of my assets. So under that umbrella LLC, now I can let me move past that one. Let me move past that one. I'm giving a little too much free game right there. Because when you have multiple LLCs, you can have one business that is doing business with each other's business, and I can literally have an LLC that owns this camera, and I have another LLC that owns the lighting equipment, and I have another LLC that owns the iPads, another LLC that owns this whole fucking garage. And we're all doing business with each other, but if you sue one of my businesses, you only gonna get the assets that were owned by that one business. So if you sue the company that owns lighting equipment, guess what the fuck you're gonna get? You're gonna get some lighting equipment. You're gonna get nothing more, nothing less, motherfucker. And all my other businesses are gonna stay insulated because hey, they're not on the hook for any of that shit because I have separate LLCs under this umbrella LLC that helps. Let me shut the fuck up. Property rights. If you don't know nothing about hiding assets and LLCs and so property rights creates a non-judicial way for commercial property owners to authorize agents to ask county sheriffs to remove an unauthorized person from the property. Also expands definitions of trespassing and fraudulent sale or lease to properties to include commercial property. Basically, it makes it easier for I'm laughing because I'm thinking of another law that came on to effect that we're going to get to in a minute. It makes it easier for motherfuckers to kick you off their property. Going on the days you say, oh, you gotta give me this, you gotta notice me on this time. Man, these people gonna kick your ass out they shit. Just tell y'all right now. We have a new bill got about ethics, stolen valor. We have so many politicians like Ron DeSantis and Rick Scott that go out here and they wear do little slick things like wear veterans of foreign wars hats or different medals and things like that, and they haven't served in any fucking war. They ain't served in any conflicts, and that's called stolen valor. And now it's a crime in the state of Florida. Well, it's against ethics laws. And we have public officials that are out here on the campaign trail talk about they did this and they did that. You didn't do that. Which, for a moment, let me just tell y'all, like I be saying to y'all that Republicans don't be giving a fuck what they say to y'all, and people get mad at me. They literally had to make a law to stop these people from going on the campaign trail and vaguely talking about like, hey, they was involved with this. They were, these individuals made a law to stop their own kind from lying about being in the military, because we see this happen all the time with Republicans, because Republicans know that if you pull on people's emotions, you can get them to move however the fuck you want them to move. Now, dangerous and excessive speeding law. This is for you speeders. If you're going 50 miles more over the speed limit, define excessive speeding as 50 miles or more and reckless driving faster than 100 miles an hour. Now, if you caught going over, I think it's 100 miles an hour, that's automatic jail time. You going to jail. First time offenders get jail, 30 days in jail, or 500 or both, while second and subsequent offense means 90 days in jail or $1,000 fine. Speeders caught doing too often could lose their license for up to a year. You habitual motherfuckers. I know more motherfuckers been to jail than anything else in this world. I know more people that's been to jail for fucking traffic violations than anything else on earth. And I know some motherfuckers that done did some shit. Whole bunch of drug dealers, couple, killers, couple motherfuckers that's fraudsters. And I know more motherfuckers that's been to jail behind traffic shit than anything else on this earth. That is ridiculous. So you habitual speeders, all you women in them Altimas, slow that bitch down now. Slow that motherfucker Altima down, because they going to jam y'all asses up. Y'all going to be the first ones at the impound lot. You're going to see a whole line of Altimas at the impound lot because these motherfucking women got heavy feet and they don't know how to slow it down. All right, we got a Holocaust Remembrance Day. Like, we need another one of those motherfucking days. Let me shut up before they cancel me. Call me anti-Semitic. Purchase of possession of firearms by law enforcement, correctional officers, probation officers. Basically, it brought in line the probation officer's ability to carry a concealed weapon. That's what this new law does. That's really what this is. Annexing state-owned lands requires municipalities wanting to annex state-owned lands to notify the legislative delegation of that county by email or in writing. You know what I mean? Got that shit to do with y'all. Trust funds for wildlife management. We ain't gonna touch on that. My Safe Florida Condominium Pilot Program. We got a horrible fucking problem with condos being old and dilapidated in Florida. And this is going to help bring those condos into code, ladies and gentlemen. Peer support first responders. Redefines first responder in the Florida statutes to include involving and investigating a crime scene or in collecting, processing evidence. These are to help these motherfuckers that were getting left out of insurance settlements and coverage to get coverage, because technically they weren't considered first responders because of their job category. So people working in crime scene may receive the same support from first responders, peer, or trauma with confidential protection as other first responders. Like I said, this helps those individuals get access to treatment. In the state of Florida, our legislators have been talking about doing insurance reform for forever, but they don't get to it. But these are the types of things that insurance reform is needed for, because these insurance companies are looking for any little way to deny coverage. And you had individuals in the state of Florida that were getting denied treatment because, oh, well, you just collect crime scene evidence. You're not technically a first responder. And that now this bill takes that ability away from the insurance provider from denying that type of coverage to these individuals. Now, imagine how many individuals had to get denied for a bill or new law to be enacted. Just think about that for a minute. All right, we got motor vehicle franchise law. Don't give a fuck about that. All right, so this one right here, House Bill 443. This allows high-performing charter schools to create their own codes of conduct or adapt them from other schools. We have an issue with charter schools already. Half of them don't fucking perform properly in the state of Florida. Half of them, a quarter of them are trying to hustle the fucking state. And, a bunch of them a quarter of them are doing it right. I got to give a shout out to the ones that are doing it right. But a lot of them, it's just, they're taking the guardrails out of this shit. Charter schools just getting fucking worse and worse by the year in the state of Florida. All right. But this new law allows more charter schools to get a lot more leeway. It defines what lab schools can spend discretionary funds on, allows certain charter schools to enroll more students than their charter specifies. Now, this is literally a law that says, hey, we know that your charter or your rules say that you can only handle 100 students. But this law says that you can violate your own charter and enroll more people than you say you can handle. School overcrowding sound familiar to y'all? But hey, like I said, it's a hustle and it's all about the bread. This prevents landlords of a charter school or anyone closely connected with them from being on the governing board. Now, this is a good one because it's, it helps stop with the double dip because it's gotten to the point where it's just egregious in the state of Florida with the amount of double dipping that we have in these charter schools, where these motherfuckers are serving on the boards, owning charter schools, getting government land, getting government money, being on these different boards. Like it's just fucking ugly in the state of Florida when it comes to charter schools and their regulations. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is that it's up to the county school board in each county to regulate and enforce regulations on the charter schools in that county. And a lot of these county boards aren't going to say shit to the charter schools because a lot of these county boards are filled with motherfuckers that are aligned with the governor that is pushing a lot of bullshit for charter schools. But hey, what do I know? All right, disability history and awareness instruction. Do we really need another awareness week? No, we don't. Education and correctional facilities for professional licenses. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. You have to give an individual an ability to earn and change their life when you're talking about rehabilitating them. And one of the best ways is for them to learn one of the best ways to do that is for them to learn some type of professional skill and get some real earnable income out here that they can use. Get some real tangible skills out here that they can use to earn an income. Non-profit agricultural organization medical benefit plan. That is fucking boring. Mitigation of banks is boring. Electronic transmit of court orders, boring. Uniform commercial code of cryptocurrencies. They can take your crypto. They can take your crypto now. They can take your crypto. It's as a cryptocurrency chapter, the Florida statutes provides rules for commercial transactions involving virtual currencies, distributed ledgers, ledger technology, artificial technology, and other technological developments. The bill establishes a baseline framework allowing creditors to secure liens against digital assets owned by debtors. They can take your crypto. They could take your crypto. All you crypto heads, crypto junkies. Oh, crypto. They could take your crypto. Default on a loan in the state of Florida. They could take your crypto. Default on something in the state of Florida. They can take your crypto. Public education background and screening requirements. Now, this is an interesting one here because Healthcare Administration did not have a database to screen for regulations of people's educational requirements. Now they do. Anybody can work with fucking special people. Let me just say that. State court systems. Make the following changes to state court system. State court judge duty. Yeah, we're going to deal with that because y'all don't give a fuck about courts. Y'all barely give a fuck about politics a little bit. Allows hospitals and ambulatory institutions to sell customers' debt. So y'all out here think your information is safe and you don't pay them people. They got to find a way to pay your shit anyways. The Gulf of America. Fuck you, Ron. Fuck you, Trump. We got a new bill for fire prevention. Now, this was a useless one here. Wine containers. You can now buy wine in containers holding 5.16 gallons. The previous law said it had to be a reusable container up to 5.16 gallons. You see how word choice matters? This is why I always tell people, pay attention to the words that people use because word choice is so fucking important. But if you don't work in government or haven't been in this world for as long as I've been in it, you don't realize just how important word choice matters. Specific words mean specific things, so you have to pay attention. All right, we got a new law that says unlawful demolition of historical buildings and structures authorizes the code enforcement board, special magistrate to impose increased fines for the knowing and willful demolition of structures listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Meaning y'all can't go into these racist communities and burn this old ass shit down. This is a result of those slave plantations that were getting burnt down and tore up. When you burn down some of that old slave shit now as a protest or being revolutionary, they have a new law designed to fuck with you. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That's a result of, those slave plantations we've seen burnt down. So we have a new law expanding housing access to support services for students who are currently in foster care or experiencing homelessness. That's a good one there. Anything that helps the youth, especially unhoused youth, we need to see more of that in the state of Florida. Dangerous Dog Act. If you want to have pit bulls and certain dogs in the state of Florida, you're going to have a lot of fucking insurance. There's a lot of you niggas out here with these dogs. So keep in mind that a new law is on the books that requires dogs declared dangerous breeds neutral, defined as dogs that have aggressively bitten, attacked, or inflicted injury on a human being or chased or approached a person in a menacing fashion in a public area, if sworn to and investigated, to be microchipped, spayed, and neutered. Requires you to have $100,000 in liability insurance. Defines when out of control must euthanize a dog, and requires owners to keep dangerous dogs secure. So y'all can't be out here just wilding with your dogs no more, man. If your dog is fucked around and declared dangerous, you gotta spend a lot more money. We got new laws on how diabetes management in school is happening because you used to have a lot of paperwork to give a kid a shot in school, any type of medicine. Public lodges and public food service establishments amends the procedure for removal of non-paying guests from the public lodging or food establishment to require written notice to the guests be by first email, text, or print. Meaning they got to give you a piece of paper before they can kick you out of a restaurant. They can kick you out of anything they want to, whenever they want to, but know now that when they say go, you got to go. Ain't none of that back and forth with motherfuckers. Ain't no more of that fucking, oh, well, you ain't telling me, I ain't know. They don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Nah, one fuck about it. Oh, man. I'm gonna have a conversation with this YN. Israeli bonds. Welcome to the United States of Israel, y'all. The Florida government made it easier for individual localities to basically invest with the government of Israel, spending taxpayer money to buy bonds issued by the Israeli government. They don't have to have a specific bond rating and real regulation. Israeli bonds are being bought with Florida taxpayer money, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the United States of Israel. Y'all voted for this shit. The unlawful distribution of control stuff resulted in death. So this one here, if you give somebody something and they fuck around and die, who's on deck? You on the hook for that. That's second degree felony now. If you're under 18, you can't like y'all gotta stop giving these people shit. Don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. If you're under 18, don't do drugs. I'm finna call my jit in here, tell her don't do drugs. Let me stop. Y'all getting tired of looking through all these laws? Imagine me, I was doing this shit for a hot little minute. And looking at all these fucking laws that we had, the laws changing. I think that law about dangerous breeds gonna get a lot of motherfuckers caught up. Especially that talk about your dog don't even have to really fucking attack anybody anymore. If your dog barking and menacing towards somebody and it's reported, guess what? Your dog is not classified as a dangerous animal. It's really that fucking simple. All right, behavioral managing entities. We're gonna talk about that. Advanced practice. Practice registered nurse services allows advanced practice nurse under the written protocol with licensed physician to file a certificate of death or fetal death or note corrected information on a permanent certificate of death or fetal death. Just makes their job a little bit easier. Aggravating factors for capital felonies. Expands the list of aggravating factors a jury can consider when deciding whether or not to recommend death in a capital felony case. It makes it easy to jam you niggas up. Basically, that's all. Pawnbroker forms now have to be in digital form and written. Apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs, any programs that expand real fucking trades and individuals learning real skills, I'm always for it. We got new rules in regards to construction regulations. Department of Agricultural and Consumer Services, the Florida Farm Bill. Now, this is the one that bans fluoride in the water in the state of Florida. It's gonna talk crazy, real fancy. Revises the definition of water quality additive to prohibit. It revises the definition of water quality additive to prohibit additives that don't meet the definition, such as fluoride. Word choice matters, everyone. Word choice is hella fucking important. So you gotta always remember that shit. Just do a little deep dive. I ain't doing a real deep dive on this shit. We're gonna talk about stuff here. Brownfields. Y'all don't give a fuck about that. Water access. Child care and early learning providers. Direct the Department of Children and Families to create minimum standards for licensing child care facilities, revise or remove special requirements. So, as you know, some people don't know this, but you don't really have to have much in the form of certification, education, licensing to run a fucking daycare. You really don't. And that's probably why we had a lot of motherfuckers just getting accused of beating the shit out of kids over the years in Florida. But now we have to have some type of structure. Thank you, Florida, for finally fucking protecting our kids. Law enforcement and correctional probation officer benefits. Y'all get more benefits. Shout out them. Foreign countries are concerned. More of that fucking ICE rhetoric. Requires health providers, if they wish to stay licensed, to ensure that a person or entity that possesses a direct controlling interest in the healthcare provider does not directly hold an interest in an entity that has business relationship with a foreign country concerning da 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 da. Meaning, if you want to stay in business in Florida, you can't be fucking with them people. Period. Welcome to the United States of Israel, y'all. What be some shit that y'all really be focused on? Allows infant devices. We start at hospital services faster. Like, certain man, keep your kid. Don't have kids if you don't want them. General permits for distributed water, wastewater treatment systems, veteran spouses, nursing home beds, school social workers, exempt school social workers from certain educator certification requirements, meaning that you don't have to have specialized a specialized track or specialized learning designation to be a school social worker. Like it makes it a little easy for them. Disposition of migrant vessels. I'm not even sure why we even needed a bill or a new law that said you got to move that shit off the beach. But we got one. Expedited DNA testing grant program. If y'all know the backlog of fucking DNA test kits that FDLE has, you would be in fucking shock. If you're a rape victim in the state of Florida, I do apologize because your case is probably wrapped up into this right here. Indemnification and insurance obligations of commuter rail transportation providers. Y'all don't give a fuck about that. Probation of misdemeanor offenses allows court to sentence a person found guilty of any misdemeanor to a term of probation up to 1 year if a controlled substance, analog, or chemical substance was a significant factor in the commission of the crime. Meaning, if you did a misdemeanor crime, you could be on probation for a lot longer than them little 36 months that they traditionally give you. Now they can give you up to a year to put you on papers and just see if you're gonna fuck up. Timeshare plan, y'all don't give a fuck about this shit. Court appointed psychologist. That's the moral guardians. I don't give a fuck about that. Corrections, excuse me. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. Flush rare diseases. We do need that, but this is actually something that gives a little bit more money to Florida State University. So it's one of their programs that's in the College of Medicine that will help them get a lot more money and through research grants and funding like that. Some of the shit that we receive from FAMU. And we have had a lot of fucked up things happen in condos in the state of Florida. And this condominium cooperative associations bill helps to improve that some more. We need bills like this in the state of Florida, especially when we have condominiums like Surfside and the ones that have just been fucking up and tearing down and just oh God, these condos are fucking old as shit. Now, advertisers for representatives, sir, I laugh when I see this because this is more so directed to protect the Latin American community because you can't use terms like notario publico if you can't advertise, if you can't help people with immigration cases. And what we're seeing a lot of is people that are notary publics representing themselves as lawyers to individuals that don't really speak English and say, oh, yeah, I know I can help you through this process. I can help you through this process. I can help you through this process. At no point in that is they say they are a lawyer, they understand the process, and that they are trained for this. They're just saying, I can help you through this process, and I can notarize your forms. A lot of people are just taking that as, oh, well, they good to go. Nah. Firefighter health and safety. I read up on that if you want. Third-party reservation platforms. Third-party reservation platforms from offering reservations for a restaurant without having a contract or agreement with the restaurant first. We need a law for that. Insurance overpayment claims submitted to psychologists. I don't give a fuck about that. Y'all don't beat them with mental health no fucking way. Flood disclosures, meaning when you move into that place to buy that property, they gotta tell you that motherfucker was in flood. They gotta let you know. They can't hide that information from you no more. They used to hide that shit. Now they gotta disclose that information. And yes, we need laws for that. Certified recovery residences. Say no to drugs and alcohol. Type 1 diabetes early detection program. Shout out to them. DHN, man, y'all seen the lines of DMVs lately? We need any type of legislation that we could get to streamline these fucking processes. Transportation facility designation, driver's education requirements. We got new laws for damn everything in the state of Florida. You can even start accepting gold and silver bullion as payment for certain things in the state of Florida, thanks to this law. Electrocardiogram for student athletes. I think this is a good one here because we got a lot of ailments that are fucking these athletes up nowadays, and we can get inkling of information that tell us that they got some shit going on, and we could treat it a little earlier. I'm all for it. So requiring them to get echocardiograms as a part of their physicals every year, especially a scan of their heart to make sure that their heart is pumping and operating properly, I'm all for it. I am all fucking for it. Newborn screenings. See if your kid's retarded or not. Substance abuse and mental health care. We got new laws for that. We got new laws for arrest and detection of individuals in medical significant medical conditions, meaning the officers can use their own discretion to not take those individuals to jail now. It used to be an awkward position for the law enforcement to be in when they were dealing with individuals with mental health problems, because they knew basically, unless they were Baker acted, there's not much that they could do besides take them to jail. Now they have options. School readiness programs, hardening the schools for service for individuals, developmental disabilities. We got bills for that. Education. This is the one I wanted to highlight right here. Requires the Department of Education to develop integrated courses that allow students to earn credit in both career education courses and required classes for high school graduation. Meaning these kids can go out here and learn a trade. I'm a big proponent of trades. I am a big supporter of trades. I ran through this long ass bill to get to the point where we talked about trades in schools, because our kids need other options than thinking they'd become a fucking influencer, or they don't need a high school diploma. They need some type of skill or learned skill or education to get through in this world. They cannot and will not survive without it. So for them to be able to get the book education as well as a trade school education in the process of their high school graduation, I'm all fucking for it. All the other shit I don't really give a fuck about, but that one right there, I really give a fuck about. And as you can see, I'm driven. Just keep on scrolling through to see, we got workforce education that's being expressed. I'm for workforce education, but look, it's especially authorized charter schools to receive funds under the Workforce Development Capitalization Incentive Grant Program, across school districts and Florida college system institutes to expand money-back guarantee programs to recover 6 workforce education programs instead of the current 3. Charter schools. We're trying to give fundamental money to charter schools. Now, when it talks about workforce education, I'm all for it, but it should be something that's done for all schools and not just fucking charter schools. I make no apologies for that shit. I'm not. And yeah, I don't give a fuck about fentanyl screening, but like I said, we're gonna see these type of bills right here that come along, because these motherfuckers, fentanyl is fucking up the white community. That's all. That's the only way to say it. Fentanyl is fucking up the white community like the damn mosquito down here is fucking up my foot. It is fucking the white community up. So we're gonna see a lot of things in regards to fentanyl. Yo, little youngins. Harming and neglecting children. We got new laws that protect kids. Got new laws that prevent against human trafficking. Department of Health. We got a lot of new laws in here. But one that I want to get to before I end this stream, I'm getting tired of looking at all these fucking new laws, as I did earlier, because it's my 3rd time looking at these fucking laws, is we have dropout. Well, this ain't it, but we have dropout prevention retrieval program bill. Education has become such a hustle that even the dropout prevention programs that we have been coming under scrutiny, because a lot of them are not progressing and getting kids to graduation. So now we have a new law that's aimed at making sure when you go after these kids, you're actually progressing them through graduation and not just taking state money to say you graduating these kids. And it's education is a mean fucking hustle, y'all. A mean fucking hustle. But as you can see, we got a lot of new laws in the state of Florida. I'm not going to go through too much more of that shit. I'm tired of looking at it, to be honest with you. Let me get rid of this motherfucker here trying to do some spamming in my motherfucking shit. Ain't no spamming in my comments, bro. Like, we ain't doing that. We don't do that. Look at my notes really quick before I get up off here to see if there's anything I missed, because I went through the whole thing and I have my notes here of certain things I needed to want to talk about. Talk to people, super speeders. There's new restrictions on ballot initiatives. in the state of Florida, the time frame that you have for turning in those voter registration cards of the different organizations that go around and register people to vote used to have a longer. They used to have a longer time frame to turn those forms in. Now the time frame has just been shortened. So while they saying there's new hurdles presented there, we just got to figure out how to move within those hurdles. That's really what we got to do, and that's the only thing that's on my notes is that I haven't touched on. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. I got my notes covered and I didn't even use my notepad. Let me check my chat before I get up out of here. But that's the 150 new state laws that we have going into effect in the state of Florida as of today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about any of them, you can DM me, email me, text me, or have me get in touch with me about any of them. If you have any questions about anything, just holler at me. We can figure it out. We can, excuse me, I can get on the stream and talk about it because that's how the revolutionary politics topic came about because somebody asked on the stream yesterday. So I did my little bit of looking around, running around, talk to the people that I know that know more about that shit than me, and we came back today and touched on the very first thing out the gate we touched on was political music. So if you got anything you want me to touch on, drop it in the chat, and we'll touch on it.